So the next section after our about section is the skill section. So we just have a card, the heading paragraph, and the progress bar. Alright, so let's get to it. We already have the skill section begin, so let's begin with a new section. We'll have our container, our row. So when using Bootstrap card for your large, you really don't want to put any number to it. You just want to say b.call-lg. Alright, so this is for our desktop view. So let's get the card. So we have our card. We just have to select the one that is closest to our design. Let's pick this one. Copy. Okay, so we're going to clean this up before we duplicate. Okay. First of all, I want to get rid of this default style that came with the card. We don't need it. This will cause our card to misbehave. So we just have tag. Let it use the original width that comes with the column. So here we're going to remove, we only need one heading, so we'll get rid of H6. Then we need the paragraph. We do not need the links. Okay, so next we are going to have let's add let's put a class here, row card. Let's give it a padding top and bottom of 40 px and 0 on the left and on the right. Okay, so let's add our progress bar before we duplicate. So back here we're going to go down to progress. Okay, so for our progress bar we have the progress bar here and the width 0%, so this gives us this empty bar here, and the one that has a width of 25% gives us this 25% width. So let's take this, we will work with this. Alright, so one last thing is the number. Let's add it. So right after our paragraph we're going to have another paragraph where we're going to put our percentage. Let's assume our first percentage will be 95% because let's say this is HTML. Okay, so here you can put a very nice description of how well you can use the HTML tool and put your original percentage of how well you know HTML. I'm just going to be putting some random numbers in mine. So 95, let's see. We're going to move this to the right using the float right class, the Bootstrap class of float. Okay, so Bootstrap has changed all their right and left to start and end. So what we're going to have here is float end. So start is the default, the beginning, end will take it this way. So using this float left is what has made this two items to be acting like they are just flowing with each other. So the next, what we want to do now is to use the clear fix. If you read about the float, you will see there you can use the clear fix class on an empty div. to break this up, if you put just an ordinary div, it still doesn't work. So the clear fix is what will remove that flow, that overflow that is making them act like inline elements. So here we have it. This is how it's supposed to look. Next we are going to let us change the color of our bar. So for our progress bar, so you can see the background color of the progress bar, but when we hover you see div.progress bar, and background color orange. That will change it for us. So let's just copy this div.progress bar. Alright, let's take it to our CSS. Div.progress bar, background color orange. Alright, so I think this is all. Yes, so all we need to do now is to duplicate the card. We just need to duplicate the card, so we're done with the styling. Okay, I think there is one more thing. The width, you can see it's very high. It's very high, and the one on the UI is kind of slimmer. So let's reduce its height. Let's just get done with all the design and just duplicate. So we're going to do the height on the progress itself, because that's what carries everything. You can see how it's highlighting all. So div.progress, div.progress. We're going to put the height here. You can get to understand better when you read it from the document of Bootstrap. So working on the height, let's give it like 10 px. Let's see. Now it's less. So for this, yes, we are truly done. So we just have to duplicate our column, call LG. Where does this ends? Ends here. So 1, 2, 3, and here we go. So next, let's work on our mobile view. Let's see what this looks all like in mobile. So tablet first. Tablet. Okay, so our tablet is stacking. We don't want it to stack. We want it to appear in two columns. So we're going to introduce the call MD, and we're going to do call MD6, because to have 2 columns, that's 6 plus 6, 12. So right where we have our call LG, we're just going to put a space there. Okay, before we do that, let's mark it so we can put it all at once. I'm just holding down Alt when I want to click on the next one. Okay, you can see it here, and I say call -MD-6. I want them all to be on 2 columns. Let's see. Good, so we have 2 columns. For a smaller device, yes, it can be 1 column stacked on each other. But for tablet view, 2 column. Desktop, a complete row. So there's a problem here. There's no space between the row. So we can use the gap. There's a flex element here. Our row is flexed. That's why we have those columns the way they are. So we'll put the gap is always on the flex item, which is our row in this case. So you can see it here, .row display flex from Bootstrap. So in our default, we can say row gap. Let's say 20 px. Okay, so we can put this row gap 20 px. In our row card, because we have a class for our row, which is the row card. Row gap 20 px. Refresh, and you see it stays the same. So this looks good. Now even on our mobile, we now have space, and back here, so everything is fine. So What else you can also use the Bootstrap shortcode for your row gap directly here, and you know it's 1 to 4, so but you're already done it in our CSS. So that's it for the skill section. Okay, then remember to change all this from HTML to CSS to CSS, let's say 90%. Okay, Bootstrap, let's say 85, 85, JavaScript. So it depends on what you know, your skills. You can even put Webflow here and say, let's say 75. So put your skill set, your original skill, how well you know how to use the tool, and put a good description of how well you can use the tool as well. So let's say, so HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Webflow. Okay. So if you want these numbers to be written in the bar, all you can do is to put them right here. Let me say 75. Right in the bar, you can see the div is empty, so you can just put it inside, just right inside the div, and it will appear on the bar itself. So I just thought it would be good for you to know how to do that, so you don't think it's something difficult. So this is it: 95, 90, 85, 75, just as we have it here. All right, so I think we are truly done with the skill section. Thank you.